1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The ladybugs came to the ladybugs picnic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they all played games.
Oh shit, the G-Shocks. Not 12, 14. 14 watches. Christ, I have too many watches. This is the state of my watch collection as of April 2021. What happens next month or even next week, nobody knows. But this is a snapshot of now, and it looks pretty good to me. I haven't done one of these videos in over a year. It honestly feels a bit ostentatious to me. But people have been asking for it, so here we go. In that time, there have been some additions, some subtractions, and a lot of reflections. I'm going to go through each watch, and I'm going to do it in biographical order, which is to say, starting with the watch I've had the longest, and ending with the one I've most recently been adopted by. At least as best as I can remember. The watch I've had the longest is this mustard dial two-tone Tag Heuer Professional from the late 1980s. I've had it a long time because it was given to me by my dad, who wore it for many years and gave it to me when he was done with it. Because of that, it's got sentimental value to me, and the longer I have this, the more I like it. I've been so surprised by how many people have told me that they have a similar story about their Tag Professional. And because of that, and its popularity, I think this watch really has a place in history. Next is my Batman Rolex GMT 116710 BLNR. I got this watch before things went crazy, when you could get them without a wait list. Of course, this is not the bracelet that the watch came with. It came with an oyster-style bracelet, which I still have, but I prefer the Batman on this Rolex Jubilee 63600 bracelet. It's far more comfortable for me, and I think it looks better. This is my primary travel watch, and it's been through a lot with me. It's another piece that will never leave the collection. I think this Grand Seiko is next. This is the Grand Seiko SBQJ017, and inside this is a 9F quartz movement that's accurate to about 15 seconds per year. Most standard quartz movements are accurate to 15 seconds per month. The SBQJ017 is sporty, clean, and at the time it was released was one of the few from Grand Seiko that actually had lume. Unfortunately, Grand Seiko didn't make a lot of these. It's become a bit of a cult classic, and it's actually the only Grand Seiko that stayed in my collection for more than a year. My most affordable watch is the HMT Janata. It was $5 on eBay. It's manually wound, 36mm across, and uses the Devanagari script on the dial. I put this watch on a cheap mesh strap, and I love the look. HMT is a brand with an interesting story, tragic even. I made a complete video about it, so go check it out. For decades, HMT was the watch brand of India. But those days are long gone, and HMT no longer produces watches. This SBQJ017 is another relatively affordable piece that's been discontinued. It doesn't look like it, but this titanium watch is a quartz perpetual calendar, meaning even though it doesn't show the month and year, it knows them and adjusts the date accordingly. It's also a GMT. It's also a high accuracy watch, accurate to about 20 seconds per year. This uses the Seiko 8F movement, which the brand stopped producing. But if you're interested, go do some research on the 8F and the watches that housed it. There are some really cool pieces out there. Ah, the Polar. The Rolex Explorer 2 16570. It is or was the exemplar sleeper watch. Nobody cared about this watch 10 or even 5 years ago, but now people can't seem to get enough of it. A white dial, Rolex GMT steel sports watch. Yes, please. At 40mm? Hell yes, please. This example is one of the later 16570s made, meaning it uses the more recent GMT movement, the 3186, which is actually the same movement in my Batman. It's comfortable, it's legible, it tracks 2 time zones. I love this Polar. The Seiko SKX013 is a charmer. This is the smaller sibling of the SKX007. The 13 is about 37 millimeters across, and that's why I swapped out the 007 for this. I like the size. And one of the first things I did when I bought this watch was to modify the bezel and bezel insert. A 12-hour ceramic bezel so I could track a second time zone with scratch resistance. I got the bezel and bezel insert from Yoboki's. That's Seiko Boy backwards. I don't wear this much, but the last time I thought about selling it, I read that Seiko had discontinued this SKX013. So maybe I'll hold out for a little longer. Another watch from the land of the rising sun. The Casio G-Shock GWM 5610. What a perfect fucking G-Shock. Wearable on most wrists, tough as nails, affordable, solar-powered, and syncs every night with atomic clocks around the world. Talk about a perpetual calendar. Between the solar and the radio sync, this watch is endlessly accurate. Of course, I've also modded this watch with a white bezel and white strap. I bought these on eBay for almost as much as the watch costs, but it was worth it. I really like this white. And now, a look back at the watches that have left us in the last 18 months. The Omega Gray Side of the Moon. You are a beautiful watch with unparalleled technology. Ceramic, platinum, coaxial escapement. But I just didn't wear you enough. Maybe I'm not a chronograph guy. The Seiko Marine Master 300 SBDX017. So beautiful. So interesting, so damn heavy. You're one of the best dive watches for the price, but I sacrificed you and a pile of cash in trade for another deep diver, the Ploprof, and I don't regret it. The Seiko Solar Tuna SNE498. You're a fun, tough, comfortable watch, but you deserved better than the back of my watch box. I know you're in a better place now. Until we meet again. Big Baby PAM. The Panerai PAM 111 is the quintessential Panerai, in my opinion. A 44mm Luminor with a sandwich dial and a display back. This was one of the last watches from Panerai to use an ETA movement, and I like that. There's nothing really wrong with the in-house movements, they're great, but I kinda like this. I bought the PAM 111 without ever having tried it on. I didn't know if I'd like it, and it all worked out. I adore the 111. It's got wrist presence for days, it looks like no other watch, and honestly I find its size and crown lock somehow elegant. This one's a winner. The GShock GW 9400 comes next, the Rangeman. This chunky monkey is really great. Like the previous G-Shock, this Rangeman is solar powered and uses radio syncing to set the time automatically. It's also an ABC watch, altimeter, barometer, and compass. I actually use this in the summer for tracking the elevation changes in my bike rides and hikes. But more than anything, the real function of this watch, for me, is fun. It just brings me joy to put this on my wrist. Look at how big and bulky it looks and know that it's nearly indestructible. It's another watch that I don't wear much, but another that's too good to part with. My boy Mark is next. Mark 18, that is. I've had this watch for a year now, and it's so damn great. I think the Mark 18 appears simple at first, but on closer inspection it's really interesting. It has subtle beauty, and it's extremely comfortable for a watch with a big bracelet. And that's for several reasons, I think. It's slim and it hugs my wrist. The bracelet is supple, and the clasp has a terrific quick adjust system via a hidden button. Most people seem to buy the Mark references on straps, but they're missing out. You need the full metal jacket. The Omega Ploprof. This is the latest generation. No date, display back, and fully titanium, praise the Lord. I tried on the steel for a while and couldn't cut it. But this is actually quite comfortable. I really, really like this and wear it much more often than I thought I would. It's a statement piece. And the statement is, my brain is broken. No, I kid. The statement is, I think, that I'm not afraid of wearing something unusual if it's quality and if it has a good story. This definitely has both. People are crazy ball nuts for this watch. I didn't know that when I bought the Santos. I just liked it. I didn't realize that I was going to get many questions a day about it. So, to answer a few of the common ones. This is the medium, and I love it on my 7-inch wrist. Yes, the bezel does scratch easily. This one has a few tiny scratches, micro abrasions really, and I'm pretty careful with it. But I do think these look really great fully scratched up. And to address the most commonly asked question, no, I don't know if you should buy this watch. I don't know you. Go try one on. If it makes you feel good, then the answer is maybe. Maybe you should buy the Santos. I'm sure as hell glad I did. And the most recent watch in my collection, the 36mm Explorer 114270. I just made a video all about this watch and my emotions. I still want to wear this watch every day. It's so pleasingly comfortable and simple and somehow still interesting. I was worried that it would bore me, but at the moment it's having the opposite effect. I'm excited to try this on some straps too. Keep an eye on my Instagram for photos. And that's the state of things as of April 2021. I expect there will be changes in the next year. I don't have any in mind, but I like to keep my options open, babe. With my watch box already overflowing, at some point I'm going to have to part with a few of these friends. And to my watches, when it's your time to go, just remember, you did nothing wrong. You're great the way you are. It's not you. It's me.